Hi students, coming to the next topic, the next part of the file organization. So in the previous video we had seen how the file is organized in the hard disk, okay, from database to hard disk, how the files and records will stored in the hard disk, okay. So that I explained in the previous video. Now coming to this, here the file can be organized in the hard disk by two ways. One is the spanned, another is unspanned. So a file can be stored in the hard disk in the spanned organization or in unspanned. So spanned means only a single record can be placed in multiple blocks. So a single record can be placed in a multiple blocks. So if you're having one record, that record can be placed in one or more blocks, okay. So that is, you call it as a span. And unspanned means a single record always placed in one block. Okay, so that is the main difference between the spanned and unspanned. Here always the record will be placed in one block only, okay, whereas in spanned a record can be placed in multiple blocks. Here a record can be placed in only one block. So that is spanned and unspanned. So let us see what is a spanned and unspanned clearly. Okay, so let us take a database file. So I said a database is nothing but it's a collection of files. So each file is having a set of records. So each record is having set of attributes. Okay. So here let us take the size of record is, if you take one record, the size of record is 3 bytes. Size of record is 3 bytes. And coming to your hard disk. So here the hard disk consisting of blocks. Let us take the block size is 10 bytes. Okay, so size of record is 3 bytes and the block size is 10 bytes. So I already said in the previous slide, the formula is size of the blocks by size of the record. So you will get 3.3 bytes like that. So here it can store. Okay, now I want to store the record in a block. Okay, here each block size is 10 bytes. So I can store up to 3 record, means 3 byte size of record. Each size of record is 3 bytes. 3 bytes, 3 bytes. So total 9 bytes are over. So 1 byte is remaining in one block. So 1 byte is remaining in one block. So if you go for another disk, another block. So this is 3 byte, 3 byte, 3 byte, 1 byte. Okay. So here I'm talking about the span tree. So how the file is organized in the spanned. So here totally here one record is stored in here. Suppose these 3 records are stored in first block. Okay, still, so these 3 records are stored in first block. So I am sending another record. So if I want to send another record in the span, some part 1 byte of record is stored in first block and another 2 bytes will be stored in another block. Okay, so this is first block and this is the second block. So up to 9 bytes of records is stored in here Okay, if I want to store another record, means still 3 more bytes I want, but here only 1 byte is there. So 1 byte of record is stored in first block, and another 2 bytes of record is stored in another block. Suppose if the CPU want to access the data, CPU wants to access the record, that is the 4th record. Okay, so here 9B means total 3 records are stored in one block. So remaining the 4th record is 1 byte is stored in one block, and the remaining 2 byte is stored in another block. So the CPU wants to access the 4th record, it has to go and search in 2 blocks. Did you get it? The span tree means, suppose still the first block is having the memory to store the records, it uses that record, that block, and the remaining data is stored in another block. Okay, so whenever the CPU wants to access that 4th record, the CPU goes and checks in both the records, both the blocks. So 1 byte of record is stored in first block, and the remaining 2 bytes of record is stored in second block. So it accesses the 2 blocks and get the particular 4th record data. Okay, so here the main disadvantage in using the span is, okay, here the CPU is accessing 2 blocks, accessing the 2 blocks for one record, So for particular one record, it accessing the 2 blocks. So accessing the blocks is always costlier. Storing than accessing the blocks by the CPU is always costlier. So that is a main disadvantage of using the spanned. Now coming to what is unspanned. Okay, let us see what is unspanned. So the unspanned means, so here this is your database file. So database, take the same example. So each record is having 3 bytes of size. Okay, each record is having the 3 bytes of size, and this is the hard disk. Hard disk consisting of blocks. Okay, so here your suppose I said the block size is 10 bytes and the record size is 3 bytes. So the size of this is 3.3. So now this particular block will store up to 3 records. Means 3 byte, 3 byte, 3 byte. Means total 3 records it's stored. Okay, 3 records it's stored. So still 1 byte is remaining. So in the unspanned won't use this remaining space. So it doesn't use the remaining space. It goes for the another block, okay, and stored in the remaining 3 byte. Okay, so the main difference here, I said, in unspanned, a single record always placed in one block. Okay, so if a size is wasted, it means it doesn't bother about that the size is going to be wasted. Okay, so it always stores, one record is stored here, one record is stored here, another record is stored here. Still it wants to store another record, but here only the size remaining is 1 byte. So it goes to the second disk, second block. Okay, so that fourth record is stored in this here. One record is stored here, another record is stored here. Okay, so that is the main difference between the unspanned and spanned. Spanned is a single record can be placed in 2 blocks. So whereas in unspanned, a single record always placed in one block. Okay, so in unspanned, wastage of space. The disadvantage is wastage of space. So wasting of space, it's no problem, but it is not that much of problem because hard disk cost will be less. So in the span tree, the blocks cost is always more than the cost of the hard disk. So accessing the block means costlier. So here in the unspanned, only the it doesn't bother about the wastage of the space because hard disk cost is less when compared to the block accessing. So most of the databases will use unspanned organization, unspanned file organization. So we had seen how the files are organized in the hard disk with the spanned or unspanned. So let us discuss how the file is organized in a record. Organize a record in a file. So let us see how the record is organized in a file. So far we have discussed how the files are organized in a hard disk. Now see how the record is organized in a file. So the record can be organized in a file by two ways: unsorted, sorted. So a file can be saved, a record can be saved in a file in the sorted manner or in unsorted manner. Okay, sorted means ordered, unsorted means unordered. Okay, so sorted is always based on the one of its attributes in the file. Okay, attributes in the record. So sorted is based on one of its attribute. So it take any of the attribute in the, so this is the file. So file consisting of set of records. Each record is consisting of set of attributes. Suppose the serial number, age, name, sex, like that. Okay, so here suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here the serial number is there. So sorted means it is based on the serial number. So with the help of the serial number, the particular record will be fetched from the file. That you call it as a sorted. Coming to unsorted means unordered. Unordered means the file, in a particular file the records will be placed in unordered. Suppose 5, 1, 2, 3, like that. So here any record can be placed, any record can be placed anywhere. So here there is no restriction. You can place any record in here. I placed first record. Here I place second record, third record, fifth record, like that. So any record can be placed anywhere. But the main problem here is the searching is slow, but insertion and deletion is very fast. Insertion and deletion is easy. Okay, so that is the advantage in unsorted means unordered file is insertion and deletion is becomes easy, whereas disadvantage is searching will be slow. Okay, so this is how the files will be organized. The file can be organized in unspanned and the spanned, unspanned and the spanned in the hard disk, and whereas the record can be organized in a file. A record can be organized in a file with the in sorted manner or unsorted manner. Thank you.